Welcome to Healing Highs with Lara, where we talk about the highlights and serendipitous moments of our healing journeys. I'm your host, Lara, an international energy healer for animals and humans. Thank you for being here. I love sharing these stories with you. Welcome. Thank you for being here. I want to invite you to spend time with our guest today, Majick. She's a certified holistic healthcare practitioner. She specializes in many things that we're going to get into today. And this is one of her guardians and magical beings, Yoshi. And I'm so excited to welcome Yoshi as well. And I know if you're watching on the video, you are excited too. So thank you for being here, both of you, for coming to spend time with us. I'm so excited to talk to you and share this time with you. We already have chatted a bit and we have like some cool things that we want to talk about. First, before we even start, because the podcast is about serendipity, I have to share what happened a few moments ago, which was we were discussing crystals and how crystals come into our lives and how we choose them. They kind of fall into our hands. And then sometimes they break because they've absorbed, energy and they've finished their job maybe. And not even like 3 minutes later, her pendulum fell on the ground and broke.
I wanted to go outside, and do grounding and go ground with the earth. And that was right upon after our conversation that we had. And so I decided to bring some of my crystals that I started with. I've been working for 16 years in the healing world. And literally, right?
Minutes after, it just broke.
That broke, which means it has absorbed so much energy that these pieces now, and what I'm going to do is, we're not going to throw them away, but we'll put them back into Mother Earth. They'll go back into the ground for more grounding, but they are done. It's absorbed so much energy. I don't know if any of you can see that, but it's clear. This was an amethyst. These were all amethysts. And
if you're not watching a video, because some of the
that's right. And
it's a pendulum that's an amethyst, and it broke like kind of at the tip.
Correct.
And the tip is what she's saying she would bury, and then she could still use it as a pendulum, the other part.
And correct. And then this one was my other healing crystal, and I still use it for healing, but it was my very first one. And this one now was a full amethyst. It was purple. But all around the edges now, they are starting to have this clear, and again, like the crystal is changing. It's getting to the point where it's wearing out. But again, we don't throw them out. I'm going to put it back down into Mother Earth. Mother Earth will heal it, rejuvenate it, recycle it. Mm-hmm. And again, it will become another beautiful gem, but it's an amethyst. It was purple. And it was just so amazing because we were discussing this. And purple is my color. It's one of my aura healing power or colors that I always see. So it's just always been a very special connection to me and what I do in my work. And that was just, we had many kind of things that happened today where there were moments where I don't even think we were going to be able to have this segment. And again, peace, love, and blessings from above, because it really was amazing and truly blessed right now that I get to be with you and be with the listeners and to any viewer out there. But if you're tuning in, if you're listening in, this has been some validation for, I think, myself. I can't speak for you, Lara, but some validation of what I've been doing and helping me to kind of get jazzed about moving forward and, I don't know, wanting to reach out again where I've been wanting to kind of shelter back in. So this is just kind of a very exciting time. So thank you for having me.
Of course. Oh my goodness. I have, these questions that I'm going to ask you. We chat about how we want it to always be organic. So that actually brings me to a question that I was kind of floating in the peripheral energies of asking you, and I think it would be perfect to ask right now is, in that space where you feel like you have kind of been inward for a while and you are going to move back forward, what kind of tools do you use to help push that forward or flow with that space? Because I feel like everyone goes through that.
I think what the greatest thing that happened for me, or one of my greatest defining moments, because I lost my father. And my dad and I really had a butting heads relationship, but I think it was through grief and more emotion. There's just also been a lot in the universe and the world that we've all been going through. COVID also affected me in a very, very personal way because I'm somebody who relies and breathes on touch. Like somebody needs food, I need to touch somebody. If I can't touch somebody, it's like a plant dying. Like, so I think COVID started it for me. And then when my dad passed, I just started to retreat. And I thought that that was doing more like, well, I need that healing for myself. And by doing that healing for myself, what I found was I was isolating more and really kind of trying to find out, like, I guess the best way to would be just like, who, it sounds so cheesy, who am I?
But
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm in my 50s now, and I'm like, wait, who am I?
Yeah.
You know, and most people are like, well, you should know who you are at 50, you know, but I don't really subscribe to boundaries or rules.
Yes.
I'm an outside of the box, color outside of the, you know, the lines. And also, too, I think sometimes I just have to go back to that inner child. The inner child saved me because it's like that inner child, if you just kind of don't subscribe to what's in your face, but go back to listening to my body, going back to Mother Nature, going back to the things that maybe I got teased for or didn't have enough confidence to maybe express to somebody. I kind of feel now that this is the time where, you know what, this is who I am. And by healing myself, that's what's helping me to heal others.
Absolutely.
And I think some people, if you're blessed, I can't say I've got dollars in the bank account. No, I don't mean it like that, but I'm so blessed. It's like that career where it's like, I've got billions. I'm like,
Exactly.
I feel
You're
like
rich.
sometimes I'm the Bill Gates or or, you know, that type of thing, because when you love what you do, the rewards, you can't explain it. So I just now want to, now that I feel like, I got more confidence with that. And we were tapping in earlier too, that word came up about.
Yes.
Remember how that word came up into the universe? I don't want to reveal too much, but a couple of us who were talking about the angel cards or whatever, and that word confidence. Once you that becomes kind of contagious, because that just gave me the confidence then to I just kind of want to know.
Yeah.
I want to go. It's kind of like when I first started playing when I first got involved in my healing journey, when I first went to school for massage school. I didn't know it was going to be holistic healing. There was clinical, sports, or holistic healing. And I thought, man, that holistic healing sounds kind of cool. So I went that route. And now it's kind of cool to tap back into that earlier stuff and go back to it.
I love that.
And now moving forward, now I want to explode and go back and not be that introvert. To answer your question, sorry.
That was a
long
perfect
question, but a long answer to your question.
No, it's perfect. It was perfect. I was just going to say, when you're saying you don't want to reveal too much, I will elaborate on that we pulled angel cards at the beginning before we started, just to set that space and the energy, and the void chose a card, and that's where that word had come up. So we can reveal that much of that. And if you watched last season, it was the last episode, the void chose a card then too. So yes. So
which can be really, really profound. I mean, they really count. I mean, it's not something that you have to say out loud, which some people get like embarrassed, like, well, I don't want to tell this person something. This is amazing, because it really does sometimes we want validation. You know, sometimes you have that gut. It's okay. Why is it, we say these words like gut feeling, and words are powerful. I mean, like, this is something I'd love to tap into with you too, is words are powerful. And the body, guess what? If you tell your body, you know, when we get sick, like, oh, I'm dying. It's like, stop telling you, or, you know.
Cancel.
Exactly. Or words like no, or stop, or, you know, there's certain things, like, if you really start believing in it, and the power of belief in that thing, and words, and again, too, just That's profound. That has power.
Yeah,
That has validity.
absolutely.
Use it. Go with it. It's okay if your gut says, you know what? Perfect example, the Waze app or something. The Waze just said I'm going to save 30 seconds
Oh, right.
in my car or whatever. When people are driving, it's like, my gut says like that might be accurate. Now, my gut's telling me to go left or...
Yeah.
Sometimes it's okay to go with the gut.
Yeah, you gotta.
You know,
I think
so
that's
it's okay to go back.
That's a very interesting thing because I've had a lot of discussions lately on AI and Chat GPT, and so some people will get excited about using it as. I've had a few people use it as a guide because it knows so much, which is interesting and a point of view, but always to go back to your own intuition because it's programmed. It does have a lot of information, but it's programmed. So what do you know? And like still compare, like follow your gut. Maybe it's going with what that's saying. Maybe it's not. So I think that.
Or finding a balance too. It's like, okay, that's a great suggestion, Waze, but my gut said over here. Yeah. And I do remember a story. It was so amazing. And this is a little sad, but it's really sweet. And one of my teachers in school, he would go to the clinics and he would go to Chalk because we were really close to a hospital where they had the children's hospital and it was cancer driven. And he was so sweet. And he was this Hawaiian, really tall surfer dude, just you wouldn't expect him to be this healing, working kind of. He did Lomi. He went to Hawaii and studied with Auntie Margaret and learned like this old school Lomi because there's different variations and it's a spiritual healing. So I was blessed to have him as an instructor and learn Lomi from him. But I remember specifically him telling me about this one amazing patient. And before she passed, he would go visit her. And he would, when he left, she wouldn't say, I love you. She'd always say to him, I love your guts.
Funny.
Because if you think about it, guts are ugly, right?
No, what's funny about those, I say that to people.
I say that. That's what started me on instead of I love you, because it's like, it's kind of like one-upping somebody. It's like, oh, you love me? Well, I love your guts.
And the way people say, I hate your guts.
Right?
Like, no, I love your guts.
You know what's funny? You know what I do love to say to you? You know what people say, and I don't know if we can use profanity, but
yes, you can.
You know how people say, oh shit, or shit, no shit, no shit, no shit.
Yeah.
If you look at their faces, they are so constipated. You know the people I love and start like just whatever, but walk around and the people that go shit yeah, because you're telling your body that it's okay to poop. It's okay. So but if you're telling your body no.
Right? That's so interesting. I've never thought of it that way.
So I love like certain things, like just even that. Like sometimes I'll tell my body like, yeah. So I'm really like, shit, yeah.
That's hilarious.
So sorry, but I won't. That's it.
That's the end of that.
Because in case mom's listening later, she's going to really get me on this.
You're like in front of the mirror doing your affirmations. Yeah.
But anyway, we've all been there. We've all done there. But you know what I mean on that note. But yeah, again, power words or power suggestion on that. So it's so fun, right?
Yeah. I wanted to say, because you brought up your massage school, when we were chatting a bit before, you had said, you were in the school and you were learning and your teacher kept connecting with you like telepathically and you were like, what's going on? And it was really validating for you on your journey. Tell me about that again.
Oh my gosh. One of my teachers, it was so funny, the instructor, and she was one of those older Christian ladies, but she reminded me of like somebody that had been out in the desert too long of Palm Springs. I'm just, like if you did that stereotypical like gypsy, or no, I don't want to say gypsy, but like hippie kind of, like maybe she had like indulged a little bit or whatever, just a really kind of kooky lady. And I remember going into, and you got to know that I'm somebody, I went to Catholic school. I had, and for those of you who don't know, like we had uniforms and things like that. And so like, you kind of just stay in the lines, even though I didn't want to, but, I did what I was, and then I went to normal school. So when I got into this massage school and saw this kooky lady, it was funny. She goes, "You're clairvoyant." Mm. And she was the first I mean, I kind of had like feelings about it, but this was a definitive moment because like I always kind of thought I was a little cuckoo, and I didn't really want to reveal that to anybody.
Totally.
So I always kind of stuffed it down there, but some people referred to me as a know-it-all. But looking back, when it's not that I didn't, I know it came off as a little kid telling, but it's like, it's not that I knew it all. It's just, I knew that something was going to happen.
Yes.
And so the only way to say it is like, I know that that's wrong.
Yeah.
I know, and people are like, I'm so tired of you being right or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, I wasn't trying to be right. Although, that it's just, I knew. Yeah. I didn't know how I knew, and I didn't know that that's what it was, but I would just, as you're a kid, you spew whatever comes out of your mouth because
Right.
You're this clean slate.
Yeah.
So whatever you're feeling, whatever you're saying, which we should listen to children some more. It's great. I don't have children of my own, but it's so great when I get around them because they just tell you things that most adults won't say.
Right.
I remember like this one kid, I went up to give him a hug and he's like, you stink, you smell like onions. Like, it's so funny. Because we're not going to say that, but it's like, it's true then. Okay, yeah, I had a burger. But so it's just great to kind of, it kind of humbles you a bit, I guess, is the best way to explain that. But so anyways, getting back to that teacher, she told me that I had this gift. I didn't know that. So we're in school and we're having this class and we're going over, like, at that point, I don't even know, we were maybe doing aromatherapy and mixing, different fragrances. And she goes, okay, guys, we have to stop. Marianne has to go to the bathroom. And she's screaming at me. And if we don't take a break now, she's going to pee her pants. And I thought, okay, that's an odd thing to say to somebody.
The whole class.
In front of the whole class. I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
I was sitting there listening.
Yeah.
But I was it had gone so long, I was really interested, but I did have to pee.
Yeah, it was true.
And this went on a couple of times where she would call me out for that. And what happened is we started doing this. She was reading my mind, basically, is what and that, as much as like your logical brain wants to say that that's not true, that's not what's happening. How does she know that I've got to go to the bathroom?
Yeah. Out of this whole group of people.
And single me out.
Yeah.
That type of, so it's just, I don't know, that was interesting. Yes, I do remember.
And you said it was like really helpful for you because you were starting to tap into what is this about me and what does that mean and how do I use it in the world? Yeah.
Correct.
So,
it validated. Yeah. And one of the things I remember like going home and or just wanting to share these stories with my family, which was taboo because, it's Catholic. You don't do that stuff. And if you're doing that stuff, people were thinking that you're witches. Or I remember having to go to the store or one of those shops and go get my crystals. And as a Catholic girl, you're not allowed to go in those shops. Mm-hmm. Those are evil. Right. Those are bad. Yeah. And so I remember having to go into the shop and I need to go get a pack of tarot cards and a pendulum.
Yeah.
And that was fun. But what was great about that is I started studying and learning in cultures. Well, nuns developed Reiki and prayer healing. So it was a great way to go back to mom and go, oh, you know what? No, I'm not a witch, mom. Do you know I'm a Reiki practitioner now? And do you know, guess what, mom? It was developed by nuns.
Yeah. If you go back, everything is connected. So yeah.
And that's what I love about the different cultures too, because yes, we have different names for it, and yes, there's different religions for it or different rituals, but at the end of it's the same. We're all looking for that same end result.
Yes.
And how can you say that that's wrong when these are things that happened way before us?
Exactly. Yeah.
And yet it's still the same.
Right.
It's the same practices that we're doing that other civilizations did.
Right.
How many years ago?
Totally.
And yes, so what I would love to see is more people today starting, it's okay to go ahead and be on these electronics. Yeah. But maybe let's start going back to some of the stuff that even is, guess what, go on a hike. Yeah. Some of these crystals and it's okay to sit for a minute and just collect your thoughts and listen. And if you take that time and you take that moment, when people say like, I need a sign, that's when you start to, if you quiet down the mind enough, those signs come. And once you start opening that and you start to receive that, then you know, like, hey, wait, I can do that again.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean like you don't have to have your computer anymore. Like, okay, it's like, okay, well, now I'm not going to eat red meat anymore. I'm vegan. You can have that computer or your cell phone, but take those moments.
Right.
They're, 5-10 minutes.
Oh, exactly. It can change.
Affirmations,
Exactly.
those things. We like to say these things, but that saying, talk the talk or walk the walk?
Right. Yeah.
Same thing with that.
And also, they say if you have those little rituals, when you just do them day to day, when you do go through something stressful, you will use those. And that is going to ground you back into your space. If you're in a nervous space or anxious space, something's happening in your world, those rituals will draw you back down and ground you and give you that safety. So it is important. Pull the card, do the affirmations, sit with your crystals, all of those things.
Right. And that's why I'm so, there's so much gratitude right now to you. And thank you for having me here today, because one of the things, it was so great for you to help me awaken that spirit that kind of got a little dusted, on the shelf, because life got rough, grief, all these things. And what I didn't do is what I should have done, which is I actually didn't pull those things out, like you said.
It happens.
And so maybe it wasn't time or whatever, but that's why I was so excited when you reached out, because it was, thank you so much for letting me bring these things out.
Yeah,
and I remember you said
they're
something
like fun
about
toys.
when my crystal broke, you're like, oh, that's so sad. I'm like, no, that's actually kind of cool,
Yeah,
because
it
that's
is
kind of
cool.
what's supposed to be happening.
And I always say that too. I'm always like, I have to say it's sad because I don't
Right.
want to say it's cool. If you're like, no, it's not cool, then I'll feel worse. So I'm like, okay, good. Because it is cool. It's such a playful energy. It's so fun to play with cards and crystals and different herbs. And it's so much fun. I love all that stuff. It's literally like being a kid and like, you got your new doll. You want to come over and play with it?
Right.
But it's cards.
But you forgot about it because it was stuffed in the corner, and then you start going through stuff and you're like, oh, well, I love that. And you bring it back out. So I have to really thank you for that, because you allowed me to bring my little toys back out.
Of course.
And also let me know that it's okay to go back and play.
Yes.
And so anybody that really wants to do that, and it just feels so good, because I think now it's so easy to pop a pill for, like, we've got pills for like, oh, I want to lose weight, here's a pill. They're magic pills for like, oh, I'm depressed, which I do suffer from depression and all of those things. But one thing I think that we've forgotten is, again, trusting our bodies. Our bodies are the most amazing. Guys, this is...
Technology here.
This is the best machine built. Best car, best whatever. Okay, you can't top this. Yeah. iPhones probably 5 years. No, your body is that.
Yeah.
Tap into it. I mean, our bodies have energy. Our bodies, heart, body, mind, and soul.
Yeah.
And when you think about that, how many times do we have all of those in sync? Sometimes we're just in the head. Sometimes we're just in our heart.
Yeah.
So sometimes we're overwhelmed in our bodies, or we've stuffed so much in our bodies because we didn't let the heart or the head kind of process.
Right.
So again, what I would love to see is all of us kind of go back to some of those basics, because this is the best thing we've got.
Yeah.
And trust it too.
Exactly.
Trust it.
Yeah.
It's okay. If somebody tells you something and it's working for them, and it might not be working for you, that's okay.
Yeah.
We're not all built the same.
Not at all. Yeah.
And I just, those were my learning experiences, because we all don't travel the same paths.
Right.
We all have our own journeys in
Yeah.
life. So
Yeah. Well,
let's not stay on the narrow.
Exactly.
Whoosh.
Exactly. Well, I kind of, because you mentioned some things about when you were growing up, and we talked about play. We had someone on last season that's her whole thing is bringing adults back to play, and that's accessing creativity, and that's your truest self. And
Absolutely.
it is like that inner child, right?
Absolutely.
And it kind of brought me to something I was wanting to ask you, because you knew as a child that something was going on. You had something special, different going on. How was that for you growing up? Was your family open to that? Were they not open to that?
I don't think anybody had. We grew up. It's so funny. You just didn't really give labels on things,
Yeah.
so we were just. It was always kind of. She's so imaginative. That's why I followed acting for a little while. It's like, oh, that Marianne's kooky. She'll just go play with herself or
Okay.
characters
Yeah.
or stalking herself.
Yes.
I wasn't really talking to
Yes,
myself.
I know.
Looking back, somebody would have said, ooh, give that girl. Back
So-
then, we didn't have some of the medications. Thank gosh, you know, because looking back. But you know what I mean? Like, it was just,
Yeah.
there's just things that, or just, we always, it was so many things too. There was a lot of stuff that I remember we don't talk about it. That's
Yeah.
when I would ask my mom some questions about things, we don't talk about that. But then in just too many things were being put in front of me where it's like that. I don't want to say challenging it, but it's like that. Why is this happening then? Like, how come? And I did find out too. Like, I did have several, including my sister. She had a near-death experience, she flatlined, and after that, that opened her abilities. She wanted to shut it. She didn't like seeing, you know, and you know, people that had passed. It scared her, it frightened her. And so, and I have another cousin that had same thing. He flatline type of thing, and he was a security guard on the Queen Mary, and he'd go take me, and he would go show me. We would have so many. You want to talk about paranormal?
We played it on, I have a recording of someone saying hello.
Oh,
yeah.
If you go with me,
Yeah,
it's more than hello.
Yeah.
We had so many
It's
things.
so fun, yeah.
Because he tapped in, and then I've spent many nights because I grew up in Long Beach, but the Queen Mary, I got to go there because he had the keys.
Right,
He's a security guard.
Yeah, you can go
And
anywhere.
so we went everywhere.
That's amazing.
But there were times where it was one of those, you know, like almost like a horror. Like I ran straight, like it was that scary where it's like, whoa, that was. So I got to have those where you can't describe it.
Right,
You
yeah,
can't describe it.
that's true.
Or things happening like right on command.
Right, yes.
Right on command
Yeah.
where it's like, okay, that wasn't, you can't explain it.
Yes.
So a lot of that stuff started
Exactly,
happening
yeah.
where it was really fun.
That is
We'd love to play with it. But I remember with my friends, like, no, we don't play on,
Yeah.
because I had a lot of friends that like to play with certain, and that's something that I never wanted to do. I like to call it white light healing or that type of energy. I don't like to do it for personal gain, which is one of the things I told you, because a lot of my friends would be like, let's go to Vegas since you know the numbers. It's
Right.
like, it doesn't work that way, by the way.
Yeah, totally.
But I also believe, like I said too, my mom's from Croatia. I have a lot of family from what we call the old country.
Yes.
And if anybody believes, which I truly believe in sacred grounds, sacred countries, I believe in places where there are the ground heals.
Yes.
I believe that there are certain locations where if you want to go, and they've documented it,
Yes.
look into it. Well, one of them is Majick in Croatia.
Yeah.
So what I thought was the dynamic of like, or why it was the Croatians that came over here. It was almost like they just wanted to blend, I think, Americanized. So it's like, don't talk about those.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I think a lot of people thought that we were like, I use that word gypsy, but I don't, that's what they call them, but it's not really an accurate, I don't really want to even use that word, but it's almost like the best way I want to say is, or like a carny, like personal gain, like, oh yeah, don't trust those people. They're gonna, you know, steal from you or whatever. Like they ask you for money and tell you false things. So that's kind of how that
viewed.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So for you, because that's in your ancestry, right? All of that amazing native energy. Do you tap into any of that? Do you use any of
Fully,
the rituals of that?
absolutely.
Like, tell us about any
All
of
of it.
Yeah,
All of
anything.
it.
Yeah.
The best way to describe it is this. I did a lot of books, readings, and things like that of different, like, okay, like if I'm going to do sound healing, then I got to read singing bowls or whatever. But what I started tapping into is this. I started listening to my body. My body, and this is what we were talking about, cultures. I think in my healing, the more I open it up, depending on who I'm working on or what I'm supposed to be doing in that session, all of a sudden we might be doing healing work of Japanese. We might be doing acupressure. We might be doing shiatsu. We might be doing in Chinese. We might be tapping into, oh, guess what? I'm going over here and doing Tibetan singing bowls. Oh, guess what? I'm going to go over here. And with the Croatian, a lot of it is prayer. For me, prayer. I will pray. I've also done a lot of cleansing in homes where just negative energy, which there's a lot of that kind of stuff too. And I don't think people are aware of it, but we, sometimes we bring that, when we're not feeling good, we're bringing that energy into our home or our space. And where's your space at? Well, if it's in your bedroom and, a residual energy so I do believe in cleansing in that. So sometimes I just try to help. It's weird. Like I said, I guess if I'm making a stew.
It's
the best way to explain it. Throwing some celery, throwing some potatoes. All of a sudden I'm going to the natives and grabbing my Palo Santo, and then I'm doing my white sage. So, and then in the same token, St. Michael's prayer for my Catholicism, so it really is just whatever there's so many tools in my arsenal is the best way to explain it. If you got a toolbox. And you're labeling each one, and it's like, oh, today I'm gonna need my Okay, ta.
And this place,
this place, all of a sudden, it needs that salsa that I got her. And this one needs a little kind of extra kick. Okay, yes. So, so that's kind of how once it opened it just kind of made it okay to like, you know what? All of a sudden, I'm seeing colors. Okay, that's cool. Those are auras. I would go and research it then I would understand then what color meant or what aura. And then so I also started believing that the body has blockages, just like anything, like a car. Like all of a sudden, maybe one tube isn't running right. So all of a sudden somebody's heart chakra is blocked. I do believe too, sometimes we're carrying stuff where we say like, hey, I'm okay. But guess what? Some people are like literally dying of a broken heart. CT scan's not going to show it. Or, sure. Just, I mean, so that extreme, but I don't know. So.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
I don't know if that answered your question.
Well, I didn't know if like you use any like, because I don't know if you speak Croatian. Like I don't know if you use any prayer or mantra
a lot
or
with Croatian.
herbs.
With the Croatian, I usually just draw more from the Catholicism,
the ancestors.
Because a lot of times in healing, sometimes I'm feeling like when people come through, or like when I am sometimes. This is great, and I love this with my clients. They'll come and they're still worried about like they want to know if like their dad's okay or their mom or their child or just whoever, like, or they're holding on to the fact like I had an argument with my mom right before. She's still mad at me. Is he still mad at me?
No.
On the other side, no. What they're doing now is they're hanging out and they want to make sure you're okay. So you're spending kind of in a way, I don't mean to be rude in that sense, but you're kind of like, don't wait. They want to tell you like, no.
Let it go.
Go. Yeah, let it go.
Yeah. I know.
We're okay.
True.
And so what's sad is like the person doesn't know that. And so what's great is how great to be like this antenna or a conduit or this vessel to tell somebody like,
you're okay, let it go.
You're okay. They're not, they're not mad at that. They're kind of laughing at you
for being on that.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a way also for someone to familiarize with that loved one, like, hey, oh my gosh, okay, that is their person. So they get their message. So it's great. What I love right now is I get to deliver messages to people. What I had to learn is in the beginning, and if I can, anyone starting out, don't go running around to people and saying what you feel, because sometimes they're like, okay, this person belongs in the loony bin. We kind of get excited when we're like, I can talk to someone from the other side. Hey, guess what? You're in a grocery store. It's like someone's like, okay, this person. But what I found is, I think the right time, the right place, and the right person, and the higher power, they all, at that point, at that point are at the perfect intersection where you're supposed to be. And then that's when the messages get delivered. And that's where that divine intervention comes from.
Right.
And the moment happens. It's very organic.
Very, absolutely.
And you don't know where it's going to come from.
Right. This episode is sponsored by Provia Psychology. At Provia Psychology, we believe healing is a whole person journey. Our compassionate mental health therapists offer personalized care that honors your unique path, blending evidence-based therapy with deep intuitive understanding. With offices in Long Beach and Newport Beach and secure telehealth across California, support is always within reach. Visit proviapsychology.com to find a therapist who aligns with you. Provia Psychology, healing starts here. What you did earlier with the prayer that you did earlier, I don't know if that kind of thing could come through again.
It would be different.
It would.
But we can do whatever you want because we're putting intentions. If you want to leave it on that note, we could do that. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it would be, really lovely to, before we end, maybe do something like that to like everyone hold that space.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So listeners, what we're going to do is we're going to open the space. And what we've had been going on, by the way, it's always good to have a lovely, like if you can light a candle, a white candle, all right? And if you don't have a candle, then a white candle, then one, even those flameless candles, but as long as it's a white candle, because that's for white light and intention. So when you do view this podcast, or if you're watching, that's how I like to start prayer, because what that is doing is that's inviting the light. Because we always like to live in the light, walk in the light. And so before we started this, I just felt the need just to shut out because of the noise, everything. I remember telling Laura, I'm like, Lara, I gotta ground myself. And then if you don't mind, can I quickly do it?
Yeah, we have a candle lit, everything.
So we're gonna we're not gonna recreate something that we can't, because we can't duplicate this.
No.
But what's wonderful is we can always send another loving, beautiful intention, which is what we did earlier.
Yeah.
And you get to join me as well.
Do you want to use that same pendulum that we used earlier?
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
The voice.
I have it.
Oh, okay, you have it.
So, and what we do have is this lovely, I know you listeners can't see it, but it's a perianite crystal. And this is a wonderful healing crystal, by the way. For those of you who do not know, I didn't even really believe in the powers of crystals, but perianite is a great one for spiritual healers, anybody, but it's also great for somebody if you're sick. Put this under your pillow. It absorbs your heat. It absorbs your sickness. There is power in crystals. There is power in these magical, beautiful stones. So I recommend it. It doesn't have to be this big. It doesn't have to be this small. It can be the tiniest one. But again, some of these crystals, you don't have to buy like 30, 20. Just buy the ones that, or if you find them, some of these you can just put it out into the universe and say, hey, I'm looking for a perianite. And it might appear and present itself right there to you. Manifest it.
Yeah.
So for all of you, do you have any ending before I start this, or do you want me to just do this?
Let's do this, and then anything else that we because I just think feel like whatever prayer you bring in, it's gonna be really beautiful. That was so beautiful earlier, and I just think it'll be perfect for whoever's listening and watching. It will be what everyone needs. Yeah.
Okay, and so basically too, I wish I could tell you all that this is coming from me, but all I'm gonna tell you is I am just gonna act like an antenna, a vessel. So I've grounded myself. I am gonna leave this open to my God. I call him God, you can call him higher power, whatever your belief system is. If you believe that there is something that is bigger than you, bigger than me, whatever name you have for it, okay, that there is something out there that is so powerful and moving, then you can go ahead and throw that intention out there. For me, it's God. So all I do to start, I only ask for God's will to be done, not mine. And so shall it be. Now, some of you that can't see this, what I will be doing is I've got a simple chain. I got a simple crystal. I'm going to hold it over okay? And it'll start out to show my energy, which is, always, we have energy, people. It flows through you. Everything is energy, okay? The more intention I put into this, it will get bigger and bigger, because all I'm asking for is peace, love, blessings from above. Peace, love, blessings from above. The more I give it, the more I mean it. I'm actually meaning this. This is just not wordplay. My heart is telling you and anyone listening, I'm putting it out there to the universe. My peace, my love, blessings from above. Let's unite. Let our hearts unite. Let love, peace flow through you, through me, through anyone that is open to healing yourself. Get rid of the hate. Open that heart to love. Open that heart to peace. Let it flow like the rivers. All the way down from here, all the way across the mighty seas, across all the islands, across to anyone that may be out there. We send our love, our peace, our blessings. Thank you. Gratitude. Thank you all. Thank you all for listening. Thank anyone who wants to hear this, anyone who is tuning in later. We hope that you put your intentions out there. It's already happening. We started it. It continues. Help us now. Thank you. All right.
Thank you so much
Wow,
for that.
that
Oh
was
my
pretty
God,
amazing.
That was beautiful.
I don't even-
Yeah, I know. You're like, oh, what did I say? Hello.
Yeah, anyway, okay, cool.
Thank you. That was
thank
really
you.
lovely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being here. So when we do the podcast, we love to end on something like kind of silly and playful, like we were talking about, just getting back into that joyful, playful state. So the Void is who supports this all of this podcast and does so much. And so we like to ask the Void, like sometimes it's like a really deep philosophical question. Sometimes it's like, what's your favorite, constellation, like anything, favorite animal, it could be any type of question. And then that's sort of our last thing that we do. But I always offer, like, if you would like to ask the Void a question, or I can, it's up to you.
I want to ask the Void. If you don't know, what's your spirit animal? That's what's been bugging me since.
Like, what's mine? Or
yeah, no, it's yours.
Oh, the Void.
I know the Void, but I know that that's not what you want. But
no, I love that. We never
because that's what's been bothering or been coming
You're
up.
like, I need to know.
No, I need to know if you know your spirit animal, because if you don't, then you need to look into who your spirit animal is.
I do, but I'm curious. Okay, the Void. Can you tell me what my spirit animal is?
Monkey.
A monkey. Okay, great. Thank you so much, Void. I love that. That is amazing. And I do have to also thank the Void, because the Void is how we were connected, that you are familiar with the Void, and that's how we got introduced, and how we got to be here today. And your perfect timing, Yoshi. I was just going to say.
Yoshi.
And I also want to thank Yoshi for being here.
Yoshi.
When Yoshi got here, he went around, checked all the boundaries, and held the space for us, made sure everything was clear. We appreciate that so much from you. And you were here the whole time, and then you went back and you were making sure we were good. So thank you so much for all of your magic. And Majick, thank you.
Majick, yes.
For everything you shared with us today. And I'm just so excited for
I'm excited too. And thank you so much again for having me. It's been an honor. And again, greetings,
Yes.
peace, and love. And I can't wait to, like, again, continue our journey together
Yeah.
now that we've made that connection even
Exactly.
after this. So
I know.
it's
Me
been
too.
great meeting up with you.
Yeah, I feel the same.
And to all of you out there, thank you. Thank you so much, any of you that are listening. And we hope that maybe something that you heard today touched you, reached you. And go ahead, ask some questions. Go out there, find out,
So
check it out.
Yes, exactly. So the Void was sending me a message just now to make sure that you guys look in the bio for how to contact Majick for her services and all the things that she does, all the magical things that she does. And so we'll have her information in the bio. She is able to be contacted by phone or direct message on Facebook.
Correct.
Yeah. So we'll have all that in the bio of each platform that we use. But yes, thank you so much for being here with us. And I wish you joy and serendipity on your healing journey. And I know our paths will cross again.